Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. It is Tuesday, August 16th. In this episode, Manchester United collapse again. By the way, maybe it wasn't the coach. City, Arsenal cruise. They're the only perfect teams in the league. Liverpool draw. That just happened. But first, Mike, the Battle of the Bridge 2.0 happens. Tell us your emotions of the game.
There's
the fights, the everything.
There's only one word for a draw that feels like a win at your rival's house, and it's one you know very well, Laurent. Schadenfreude.
Oh,
Chelsea fans, sit down, buckle up. I'm coming for you. All right. Here's the problem with you lot. Okay. You have the balls, the brass balls to sit there and tell us, the bullied, the Spurs supporters who you have picked on and laughed at and cheated and given shit to for 20 years with your dirty, ridiculous, fucked up Russian money, that we are shithousing you, that we're the ones pulling here.
By the way, I have a stat for you. You ready?
Yeah.
60 games, the last 60 games between Chelsea and Spurs. Spurs have won 7.
Yeah. Yep.
7 wins out of 60.
Yeah, and you know what? This one isn't one of those 7, but it sure as fuck feels like one, because here's the problem with Chelsea, okay? We're going to get into what actually happened on the field, but my father, when I played sports as a kid, my father said, never let the referees be a problem. Leave no doubt, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea, your team dominated that game. You are an embarrassment that we were even sharing the field with you, okay? And you had numerous opportunities. I kept texting my friend who's a Chelsea supporter during the game, talking so much shit. Every time a Chelsea forward missed a hilariously big opportunity, I yelled, "Drink!" He 5 times I did that, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
And by the way, I had a moment too. I was like, there's Raheem Sterling. That's the one I know.
Right. Right. He stinks out loud. I said it when they signed him. Just like he's not additive. And I mean, he laid off the ball to Reece James, but like fucking you or I could have done that. Like, great, good job.
But he does do that. So let's go through the scores and we'll go through the games because the scores are fun, and give me the moments. And all right. For the early game, Aston Villa 2, Everton 1. Aston Villa off the schneid. Everton have a star in the making in Onana, a big, giant, hulking midfielder who I love. Oh, a best bet, Brighton 0, Newcastle 0. I wonder who called that draw. That was me. Arsenal and the Jesus revival. Is it a revivalist? How do we say that? A religious revival under Jesus? That's what it is. Win 4-2 over Leicester, but Leicester show fight. Arsenal's still not perfect. They're giving up goals. Wolves 0, Fulham 0. The less we talk about this game, the better. But Wolves are the ones who had the chances, but Fulham can feel good too. Mitrovic missed a penalty. Southampton 2, Leeds 2. This will feel like a loss. Leeds had a 2-0 lead in the 70th minute. Southampton come back. Southampton. City
We're not
win.
going to have a lot of time for that one for all the other shit that went on, but
yeah,
that's one that we could look at in April and May and go, oh, those are 2 huge points that Leeds dropped. I hope that I'm wrong, but all right.
Then City will have about as easy a cakewalk against Bournemouth, 4-0. Gundogan with the first goal, and he is now named captain as voted by the players. And then the seismic shock that sort of broke the internet and broke the Premier League. Brentford 4, Manchester United 0. You heard it here first. I called Brentford plus 280. I did not call the 4 goals, which I think was a 4-0 lead. If you had put exact score, was plus 25,000.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest get the luckiest win they'll ever get, but Forest were there. It was a thing. It was fun. And then we're going to go to the last game of the day, a game that took all the air on the 30th anniversary of the Premier League. It's going to be what we're talking about. We went to Mike. Now we're going to go deep. Chelsea 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Wow. What a game.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, there was, again, the game itself, right? Conte, we said this on the preview. I thought that Kulusevski would have a lot more joy behind Cucurella or Chilwell. He didn't. He was almost invisible. I thought it was actually interesting, by the way, that they took Sonny off late instead of Kulusevski, given the fact that he was sort of irrelevant. Nonetheless, Chelsea imposed their will on the game. I knew that Koulibaly would be good. I understated that. He is a
Yeah,
Rolls Royce back there.
he's
He's
really
a
good.
tremendous defender, right? The
Yeah.
good news is that Thiago Silva, if you slit his throat, dust will come out. He is so slow to his left. He's still got, and they said this on the broadcast, like as he ages, as any proper Premier League footballer ages, and they lose their God-given ability and speed, the mind has to get sharper, right?
It
And so
looks like luck, but he seems to always find a way to, like, there were one-on-ones that you just like, he just stuck out his foot and he got it. How the fuck did he do that?
Yeah.
He's got a thing.
So, I mean, look, this game was as chippy as they come. And yeah, Anthony Taylor has been the man of the hour in West London, right? And Chelsea fans this is what I was getting at in the open. They have the brass balls to be bitching about Anthony Taylor. Two things. A, he called the game as it was instructed. We've seen many times in the last 2 seasons, referees have been told to sort of sit on the whistle, and if there is an egregious error, let VAR make the call, right? Especially if you didn't see it, right? So this is why we have VAR essentially, right? But so there were a lot of controversial plays on both sides. I'm going to start with the 7th, I think it's the 7th minute, when Mark Cucurella steps on Christian Romero's knee. That's called foreshadowing. He doesn't forgive. He doesn't forget. There are so many things. Reece James could have had a second yellow for pulling down Heung-min Son the same way he did in this early second half by basically preventing the
followed Son everywhere, and that
was great.
That was the key battle that I think Tuchel got right. He was like, this Son character who keeps on getting free and is everywhere, he's not going to be everywhere. Let's see how this team works without its main. Right. Like, I think for the first time, the racism of against Asian athletes not being good, finally someone said, no, fuck that. He's really fucking good.
Well, and again, that's kind of why I expected Kulusevski to have more joy, because I assumed that they would key on Son. I thought that Sonny would get more of his opportunities. He didn't.
The Spurs didn't have the ball was the other
point. Right. And again, it was Conte, and to a lesser extent, a far, far lesser extent, it was Jorginho in the first half. It was Conte. But they were dominant. They were dominant in the midfield. Thank God that Chelsea's forwards couldn't hit water if they fell out of a fucking boat. Otherwise, this would have been out of touch early and often. So we go into halftime 1-0. And the interesting thing, I'm going to look when he brings in Richarlison.
Richarlison is really 57.
Yes, that changes the game, right? Yep. So Richarlison makes his Spurs debut officially, I suppose, on the 57th minute. And he takes off Sessegnon, which I was actually hoping that he would take off Royal. Late in the game, I was kind of curious why Emerson Royal was still in the game.
I think he just likes. I think it's a seniority thing. I think there's a little bit of fear with Sessegnon. Sessegnon did have the only real chance
in the first
half that Spurs got, and it was a really good chance.
Well,
I think the thing that is clear is like Sessegnon is more of an attacking player. I keep my eye on my sons. He played okay. He didn't hurt.
I thought he was fine, but effectively what he did was he went from a 3-5-2 to a 4-4-2. He moved Davies out left. He kept Royal as the defensive cover. And so you basically had Richarlison and Kane up front together. Right. You should probably mark both of them. That's also called foreshadowing. So as the game goes along, Spurs grow into the game a little bit more desperate. And my friend Jorginho gives away a terrible ball inside the Chelsea box. Why he didn't just hit it into Rosie, nobody will know. It's because he's rejected in Brazil. He's borderline rejected in Italy. Nobody likes him. But anyway, he gives the ball away to, I believe, Kulusevski, who kicks it back out to Højbjerg, who basically hits a wet noodle of a shot that finds its way through. Was Richarlison offside? Probably.
Well, can we go back a step?
Go back a step to
Koulibaly's goal is fucking incredible.
Oh, I apologize. You know what?
I didn't want to think about that.
No, I'd be remiss. I mentioned him already, but he right off of a corner, they kind of kick it deep, and he's there. And I actually did think he was a lefty coming into this game, but he's certainly not, because he volleys it shoulder high with his right foot. Loris has no chance, and it's 1-0 Chelsea. But and from that on, Chelsea really
it's
looked
all
like
Chelsea. The first half there's hardly any discussion of anything Spurs are doing. They can't get out. They can't move. They can't get the ball. The big thing that I think Chelsea did, I mean that Spurs did, is they hung on. They didn't give up much, like you said. There were some chances here or there. There were a lot of shots, but all the action was coming from Chelsea. But they were really popping the ball around. Like it was like, oh shit! If this version of Chelsea is going to exist, then teams are going to have a problem. But again, the problem that we keep bringing up and we brought up was the shots were not threatening. There was Havertz missed, Sterling missed, Mason Mount is not able to get into the offense the way they're set up right now. I don't know what's going on with him. I felt like I didn't hear his name at all.
He had a bad miss. But so I think that they took what Tottenham gave them, which was Tottenham essentially tried to revert to sort of Mourinho ball to an extent. It was like the only move they had was to hit on the counter. Again, because they have Son and Kulusevski, and we all know that Kane's going to drop deep and basically hit one of them with that Tom Brady to Randy Moss long ball, right? But
it was fearful play. It was like giving a little bit of too much respect to Chelsea.
Yes, I agree.
Couldn't really get around them, right? It seemed like there were 3 Jorginhos popping the ball around. Yeah. He seemed to be on the ball constantly. But the thing that I always think about with Chelsea is, only because I juxtapose it with my team, there's nobody, and it's definitely not Jorginho. Jorginho has half the skills. He does not have the head-up risk pass into Sterling. Sterling's never going to get in behind and have shots on goal, ever, because there's no one to play that ball. And I think the reason why Chelsea never have good strikers and guys who score goals is because the midfield does not have creativity.
Well, they don't have a 10, right?
To move the ball forward, right? They have carriers, like Mount can carry the ball into the offensive third, but no one passes it in.
Yeah, and the Havertz as the false 9 seems to be not working well. Like
it was Sterling. They're rotating. Those guys
I don't understand
effectively the same
why.
person.
Right. But again, it was effectively like playing traffic cones with Spurs, because they were just deferring and giving up land like they were the French. So they continue on into the second half. Right before we'd be remiss if we bring this up. Right before Højbjerg scores in the 68th minute, there's a very controversial play in Spurs half where Rodrigo Bentancur makes,
who had a bad game, who couldn't live with Chelsea's midfield at all.
And I think he and Højbjerg struggled because they are sort of facilitators. Like the we talk about it all the time, like the Dutch Højbjerg, excuse me, the Danish Højbjerg.
He did play Harry in, and he should have scored.
No, I know that. But again, when he has space, he has the ability to play a ball, but it was batten down the hatches mode. And he was like, I'm kind of busting at the seams here. But so Bentancur makes a kind of a wraparound slide tackle. I forget on who. I think it was Havertz.
It was Havertz.
And he stops, right? Anthony Taylor waves. As I said, he swallowed his whistle all day. He waves no foul. Good tackle. Spurs go down and they bounce the ball around. Jorginho gives it away.
Right. So this is the key piece in this play is Chelsea, there was a new phase. Chelsea had gotten possession of the ball since that foul.
Right.
And then lost it.
And that's why I wasn't sure if it could be VAR.
It could have been in previous versions.
Right.
But
and
I'm glad that they didn't. Because I thought there were 2 things on that play, right? Is Richarlison in Mendy's eye line?
In the way. Yeah.
Sure. But there was a lot of room. He didn't dive late. It felt like he saw it. And then when he didn't save it, he jumped up.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So that goal stands. And now Spurs are in the ascendancy, still they're now causing problems for but
Chelsea.
The interesting thing was they get the goal and they've switched to a 4-4-2. They have completely turned Tuchel inside out at this point, which, by the way, we have to go back to that in a second. But there was sort of helter-skelter mode for Spurs because they were, should we keep going? Should we sit back for the draw? It's 1-1 at the bridge. It's 20 minutes left, so on and so forth. But we can't go any further without mentioning the real story of the day. After the first goal, Antonio Conte goes in towards the Chelsea technical area. Well, not really. He does
his normal cheering that he does.
But the fourth official gets in the way. Thomas Tuchel comes flying up, and they get in each other's faces. And they have a whole a whole smattering of issues. The best part about this was it was right at the it's too hot in England all of a sudden water break. So
there was like a long
90 degrees Fahrenheit is not a heat wave, folks. Okay. I get that I live in Florida. I get that it's different down here, but 90 degrees has never been holy shit hot before. So everybody's calm the fuck down.
In England, it is.
It's in New York, it's not. It's like, oh shit, it sucks to be on the subway today. That sucks. But so that whole thing kicks off. It starts to simmer back down, and then Chelsea go ahead 10 minutes later on a great strike by Reece James, laid off by Sterling. But again, that 10 minutes, Spurs were completely unsure of who they were. They were trying to be two teams simultaneously. Chelsea took a couple of minutes to smart about the goal, and then they got right back on the front foot, and it was coming. There was 5 or 6 minutes where it was like, God damn it, just get the ball out of play and get Perisic and get Bissouma on, and they didn't. And literally, that was the next phase of play was, all right, Perisic on for Sonny and Bissouma on for Bentancur right away.
Right. After the Reece James goal, there's all these changes.
Right. Well, but those were coming is my point, right? Like, and I remember saying to a buddy, like, get Bissouma into this game and get Perisic into this game because we're worthless right now. We are struggling everywhere. And Chelsea they can smell blood in the water. They're gonna.
And it's hot. I mean, it is hot. Like, let's be fair. Like, they're defending. There's 5 subs. It's time to get new legs in. And I'm gonna talk about this really quickly. N'Golo Kante's fucking hamstring went.
Yes,
it's gone. Like he's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a 6-weeker easy.
Yeah. And so and by the way, those injuries, it's interesting. This time of year, you'll be like, oh well, there's a couple international breaks. He's only going to miss like 3 games.
No, he's going to miss like 7.
He's going to miss a ton because they're going to start playing 2 in a week very soon.
Yep.
But so as I alluded to, why the fuck is Emerson Royal in the game? He comes out. Lucas Moura comes in. This is another symptom of the 5 sub rule. And basically, once Conte goes down for the last 10 minutes of the game, it is all Spurs. And it's just a question of, is the time going to run out before they get the equalizer? And then
you guys were in their other end. It felt like the first cross that Perisic did was bad. And then it was what? 5 crosses in a row? 6?
Yeah, something like that.
Including the hair pull?
Hold on. We have to go back one more time. As Reece James puts the ball on the net, to be clear, it is at the far end of the field across the benches. Okay, so I'm going to give you this much, you German war hero robot fucking piece of shit.
He runs across the benches.
When he scores, Thomas Tuchel runs sprinting like a cartoon character, pumping his fists, past N'Golo Kanté, who just has his head in his hands. And Conte said on his Instagram story, if I saw you, I would have tripped you. You would have desered it. Like
with laughing emojis.
Yes. So
it was reminiscent of Mourinho Porto against United. Not the same level, but it was the same kind of run.
Well,
it was long. It was 25 yards of running.
What? Yes. And you know what? Hey, it is your stadium. It is your club.
It's fine. I don't care.
Fine. Go that way. Fuck you. Go that way. You got fans that way too. I don't want to hear it. So again, Conte comes out. Conor Gallagher comes in, who loves playing against Tottenham. But
he didn't do anything.
Like you said, the midfield sort of fell into itself. And it's just a matter of if Spurs can get the equalizer. We get 6 minutes of extra time. You said Perisic had a few crosses. Nothing really was working. In the 96th minute, Perisic takes a corner. It hits the short post, and it's cleared. It's cleared out for another corner. But in the process of that, Christian Romero,
little retribution comes
who you'll remember was stepped on in the 7th or 8th minute by Mark Cucurella in the knee, which, by the way, is an automatic, thanks for coming out today, red card. Automatic if the referee sees that. Happens to get a souvenir or two. He reaches back and pulls Cucurella down by his big, stupid fucking hair. And basically, by the way, he pulls him a little bit and Cucurella makes a meal out of it if you watch it again. But
okay. But very important. Mike Dean is the VAR.
Mike Dean's VAR. They go to VAR. right? And so
And
I'm
they don't
sitting here
call
like,
it, which is
did it
unbelievable.
hit a hand? Are we going to get a cheap penalty or some shit? And so when I see the replay, I go, oh, the game's over. Like it's not a red card, by the way.
It's a yellow. It's a foul.
It's a foul.
For sure.
But if there's any club in the world who deserves absolutely what they got, it's Chelsea Football Club. I want to make
it's only the owner who funded the Russians who invaded Ukraine.
Right.
Like he literally was called Putin's checkbook.
Yeah.
That was the owner of Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like you have no pot
you
to piss in.
deserve everything you get. And like I said at the top of the show, you bullied Tottenham for 20 years and you don't like getting bullied back. Guess what? Arsenal didn't like it either. Get used to it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're here.
So
we're not afraid.
But then so we have the win, we have the draw, we have the controversy.
And then of course Kane scores at the end. I buried the lead. But the thing is too, in that final corner, in the 96th minute, whose head rises almost as high as Harry Kane to hit that ball? Richarlison. You mean to tell me that in that situation, you left Spurs 2 center forwards completely unmarked? Forget all of the Schadenfreude and all the bullshit. You deserve to get scored on. You just do.
Yeah, it was as it was happening, I was thinking to myself, is Spurs going to get a penalty? As it kept happening, I was like, Spurs are too good not to get something here, or something crazy will happen. We did have something crazy. We had a hair pull, we had extra corners, we had, guys not talking to each other, like one clearance away, and Chelsea win that game.
It's over. Yeah.
Right? So they had more than enough chances to win that game. They'll feel hard done. Then you have the fucking handshake, hand grab, Trump versus everyone thing, where Conte tries to shake the hand with as passing as you possibly can.
Right.
And Tuchel grabs him and says, "You have to look me in the eye when we shake hands." I'm like, no one ever does that. He just decided to be a dick. And so it kicks off again. Yep. It was amazing.
It was fantastic. And it really
was better than any Mourinho Wenger stuff. It was the best. And they were good sports about it afterwards. They were cool. Really?
Yeah, I mean,
mostly they were just like, whatever, it's fine.
Well, no,
they got mad at the ref, but they weren't like right. But neither of them went, he's a deadbeat coach, and I think that he should be a man and come meet me in the hallway.
Which would have been better, I think. But
they didn't, right? They didn't. They were both like, "Oh, it's football. We got emotional."
To keep his emotions in check. But he didn't. He just smiled and said, "Oh, it was just gentlemen," or whatever the fuck he said. And then he divulged into how Anthony Taylor's family is full of fucking garbage people, right? Like he completely disagreed with every call in that game, despite the fact that, as I said, Chelsea could have and should have gotten as many red cards as he thinks Tottenham should have gotten, maybe more.
The calls were bad.
No, I don't agree that the calls were bad, said the Tottenham fan. But what I'm saying is,
it's okay that you won on bad calls. It's fine. They're not that bad.
No, they're just bad. But to color this as, oh man, poor Chelsea, Tottenham got
no, it's not poor Chelsea. Chelsea should feel like they blew it because they did.
They did. Let's be very clear. Let's go through it. They blew 2 leads at home. And they had, 4 or 5 big chances in the fucking 6-yard box almost that they missed. Yeah. You deserve nothing but sadness and despair.
The internet says that the XG was 1.1 for Spurs and 1.4 for Chelsea. So Chelsea didn't – it wasn't like 3. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like they missed 3 penalties or something ridiculous.
No, but it felt worse. It felt like there should have been – that could have and should have been 4-0.
It could have, with better finishing. I don't like the narrative. I don't like the narrative that Chelsea need a striker. I think it's reductive and lazy.
You know who they should buy?
Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah,
I mean, Timo Werner, Alvaro Morata. Why? What is this theme?
Fernando Torres.
It's not the fucking strikers, okay? It's the creativity before the strikers. I mean, if you have to create lots of chances. The problem that Chelsea strikers have is they get 2 chances a game, and if they miss, they've blown the game.
Yeah,
you need to be
not
the guy got 5 chances and makes 1 or makes 2, right? That's why, dude, Raheem's gonna be a failure. I'm telling you, he's not. They're like, he's nailed on. But there are a lot of pundits, even like fan TV. They're like, oh, he's nailed on for 15 goals. No fucking way is he scoring 15 goals.
in the Premier
He's
League,
going to score
I'll take that
10
under.
if he's
I'll
lucky.
take that under.
To 15, He's not scoring 15 goals.
No chance.
No chance. No chance. Zero. Because one-on-one, he misses 40% of them.
So this reminds me, and it was a draw, okay? It reminds me, it actually feels the same as the win at City last year, where you guys hit us late and we hit you back. It was Kane at the death, right? But that was 3 points. This is only 1. But here's the other thing, Chelsea. You only get 1. Fuck you. It was beautiful.
So speaking of, we did a lot. We did 25 minutes on this game.
We
do have to go to the team that literally is like, thank God that game happened because maybe the sweat's off our back for 5 minutes. And that is the wonderful 4-0 Brentford Man United. I can go and pull out 5 different or 6 different episodes of our show. The 5-0 against Liverpool, the Watford defeat that got Ole fired. We've done this story about United, and they haven't changed. I mean, it's crazy how much the punditerati, whatever the fuck we call them, in Europe is just, they're exacerbated at this point. They're like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Yeah. How much lower can United go? They're kind of like now saying they should just accept that they're finishing 10th. They're not better than Brentford.
All right. If they weren't, I've been trying to avoid the hyperbole because I talked a lot about this last season where I get fatigue when everybody.
They're worse than the sum of their parts by a lot.
Yes. But all right, let's think about why. Ronaldo starts in this game, and this is sort of a microcosm.
They have no one else to start.
No, I understand, but when you look at the performance on the whole, you have to think of 2 things. David de Gea was the only thing keeping this team afloat for 2, maybe 3 seasons.
Yeah, he was +8 on goal difference.
If there's anybody who deserves to be able to wipe his ass with a Saturday afternoon, it's David de Gea.
Sure.
But he's used up his free one.
He did throw one in and then basically sold Christian Eriksen under the river. He had an open pass. First of all, Martinez shouldn't have passed it back to him. They should have.
And then Martinez gets abused on the 3rd goal because he's 4'6". That's why. But I want to go back to the first goal, right? So Ronaldo starts, and if you look, he thinks he dives all over the place like he's Portuguese or something. That's strange. But he really hits the ground 2, maybe 3 times in the first 10 minutes, I think, of the game because I was watching it very closely because I had a vested interest. But so the first goal goes in on 10 minutes. He is on the ground 2 or 3 times looking at the ref like, what the fuck? What's going on? No fouls.
They're not calling stuff this year. This is the rule.
Right. And this is what's going on. And so he is actually the culprit who gives away the ball at the first goal.
On the first goal, correct.
Is that the reason the ball went in the net? Absolutely not.
No. But it was a turnover. De Silva was free. He did hit it hard. They were out of position. What you notice about United goals is even though there are mistakes, they're just out of position. They're in the wrong places. Right. Like
generally
the 3rd
speaking,
goal, the 4th goal, which was the best goal, the Mbueno goal.
That was awesome.
They turn it over in their own box on the attack. It's 2 passes later. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Okay. I think of that goal as like a pissed off kid playing FIFA who just goes, fuck it, ultra offensive. Let's just try to get something on the board, right? But the thing about, the entire day was just that, like you said, usually when a ball goes in, somebody makes a mistake and it leads to a ball going in. In this, you don't even have somebody looking around pissed off because everybody's like, fuck, I think that was my fault. Like everybody on the team to a man is like, oops, sorry.
The thing is like, football is, first there were some weird things like he took our suggestion. He played Christian Eriksen deep. I guess I was wrong. That didn't work. But that's fine.
That deep. I haven't seen him, and I apologize for the Tottenham City references. I haven't seen him fuck up that deep on the field since the Raheem Sterling VAR goal. Like, it's just like he doesn't belong on that side of the pitch. He just doesn't.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. City. The thing is with United is they're super fragile. They don't seem, and we don't have to go. I mean, we're not going to be. We did a deep dive on Chelsea and Spurs because it was much more interesting. This game was not interesting. It was a steamroll. Brentford Football Club, newly promoted in their second season, had 4 goals up on United in 35 minutes.
Yeah.
This was as much a demolition as you could get. And even though there were throw-in goals by De Gea and that affected mentally the team, even with that, there was no fight. There was no thought. There were no ideas. The midfield of Jensen, Norgard, and De Silva just annihilated Eriksen, Fernandez, and
look,
Fred.
once
I mean,
got-
they weren't even there. They were
Once
just
they
like
got the third goal, they're like, fuck it, have the ball. We don't care. 67% possession, right? But the thing I want to draw attention to, bringing it back to Ronaldo, is that here's why no team in Europe wants him, okay? I was tracking how many shots he had because I had a shot prop on
he
Ronaldo.
just shoots.
He doesn't just shoot. He gets frustrated, and the build-up play where United are growing into the attack and starting to look formidable, he just goes, fuck it, and tries to pick a corner from 30 yards, and it goes into the 15th row. Yep. And he's that works sometimes.
I mean, listen,
dude,
you and I both know the best version of United was the Fernandez United with Martial and Rashford when they both scored the 17 goals.
Yeah.
They had some spirit and some heart. They had some cohesion. Then the first 4 games when they still had Greenwood and Pogba got 7 assists before Ronaldo even showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Then Ronaldo shows up and the build-up and the play collapses, but he's saving their ass with heroics.
Right.
And it makes it seem less bad. But it goes downhill from when Ronaldo gets there. It is, and I don't think it's a coincidence at all. And they're still in this space, and no one at that team has any guts or any leadership or anything to just go, fuck off. We're done with you. He's bigger than the club. Because he literally is bigger than the club.
Well, and I said this on the last episode where, does Ten Hag have the balls to be like, no, go sit over there, go play with the youth team,
just send him home, buy him out. You got to go. Like, go find a team to play for.
The Glazers don't need money. Keep paying him. Who gives a fuck? Go ahead.
They have money.
Yeah.
So this is a whole referendum on their system. But the thing that's more interesting is, I shared a Photoshop photo that I made up of United's next 5 games.
Next 5.
Liverpool, Southampton, Leicester, Arsenal. They're going to get outworked by all those teams.
Yeah.
Like, Southampton could get smoked. I gave them Southampton as a win. But that's Southampton away. You're telling me United's going to beat Southampton away?
So, okay.
They're going to beat Leicester away? No.
Look, okay. They're gonna host Liverpool next weekend, which we'll talk about in a second. They have their own problems. They're going to lose, maybe not by as much as we thought. After
I'm maybe a circle of wagons. Oh!
But here's the thing. There will be in training this week a moment where they reset. Right.
This is an anecdote. You ready for the anecdote of the day?
Yeah.
United was supposed to have the day off. Ten Hag's like, no, you don't. He made them run, every player, the amount of kilometers that they were outrun by Brentford.
Oh, I like that.
18 kilometers.
And so, okay. And so, yes, exactly. So it reminds me of like the in Remember the Titans, like the Gettysburg runs in the woods.
Sucker's got to be throwing up on the field. I want United players throwing up. It was 90 degrees. Was Luke Shaw throwing up? No. Then they didn't run enough.
So that's kind of the point I'm getting at here, is that like something is going to happen where, listen, this was almost so bad that it actually could be, if they lost 1-0, 2-1, they'd be like, holy shit, now what? But this is so backbreaking. You have to do something different. You just have to.
Yeah, like I'm not even being kidding. Ten Hag could walk.
Wow, but like he certainly had a "what the fuck have I gotten myself into" moment. But this is where the wheat from the chaff, right? Like, you as a manager go, okay, this is almost. I mean, it's there's when you're managing, and I'm not saying this is one of them, when you're managing a really good team and they get their shit kicked in, like a manager almost has that wry smile, like, good, now they're mine, right? Now Ten Hag is like, okay, you guys, you good now? You done? You done doing it your way? We done? Because now I'm in charge. And you have to do that. Otherwise, then you should walk if you're not going to absolutely.
You know what it made me think of, and I know you're gonna. This is a good segue into, well, more into Arsenal's game, but Arteta really did a good job. Like, he tried to play, they would get beat in that first season. Then they went defensive and they would hit teams on the break. Because they went to 3 at the back, they went to the 5 at the back.
Yeah.
They had those 2 FA Cup games. They beat Liverpool and City to win the FA Cup
2 years ago. Yeah.
Then he's like, for some reason they give Aubameyang the contract. Then he blasts Aubameyang. He's like, we're shooting you out of the fucking zone. Oh, you show up late, you're stuck in traffic. Fuck you. You're gone.
You have a Lamborghini on cobblestone roads. What the fuck are you even doing anyway?
Lime green. What are you doing? Like,
yeah.
So he wins that. Now, to be fair, Arsenal clearly have structure that they all bought in on. Like, it's Kroenke, it's Edu, young Kroenke the younger, not old man Kroenke.
Yeah.
Not Silent Stan, but young Kroenke.
That's
like
Super
them or
Bowl
not,
Stan to you.
They do vertically align and just go, okay, Arteta's that guy. He gets elevated from head coach to manager, which is symbolic, but means that I'm a little bit more than just on the field.
It means I have more say in the backroom happenings.
Right. So, but that's what Ten Hag needs. He doesn't have that, though. What I don't understand is why United don't hire Van der Sar. I don't know if you know who Van der Sar is, the former goalkeeper, but he's been the chief executive at Ajax, who's been doing all this stuff. He hired Ten Hag. He's a United legend. Like,
yeah, yes.
Why don't you just, like, I still don't understand why they don't just, like, it's not like it's a fucking surprise. Like, you look at City. City's had Ferran Soriano, Chiki Gaberistan, the CEO guy who's the Sheikh's right at him. The Sheikh is irrelevant. He's got a real business leader who runs all the businesses. It's vertically integrated. They planned for Pep 3 years before.
Yeah.
You have things like Cucurella. Is like, Cucurella at 60? No, thanks. We're going to buy it. They immediately pivot and go, nope, we're buying this guy for 12. We'll take what we can get. Why they're still talking about fucking, what's his face? Frankie de Jong. He doesn't want to come. It's like, he broke up with you. He's not interested. It's like, why are you calling her? Stop texting her.
Yeah.
She's out. She's fucking your homeboy.
You're really hitting on the dysfunction. When people talk about United and the Glazers and everything, the weirdest thing, they spend as much, if not more money than pretty much everybody.
It's
right?
But it's all it's sunk cost. It's all gone. It's garbage.
Well, sure, but that's exactly. Like, you have no leadership, no direction, no ethos, right?
Nothing.
Which is so strange for a club this size and of the stature of Manchester United to not sit here and say, this is what we're about. This is how we play. These are the types of players we aspire to have. These are some of the players we do have. It's pissing into the wind.
I'll just look at this. What club the size of United has the same goalkeeper for 12 years? Like, they were a fax machine at 12:01 from him being at Real Madrid 7 years ago. Why is he still there?
We really should bring that up every episode during each transfer window, just as a reminder of how batshit crazy that whole thing was. I don't think there's ever going to be anything crazier than that.
Then Dean Henderson is playing for Nottingham Forest, and incredible saves a penalty and wins them a game.
Yeah, by himself.
I don't know. Anyway, we should probably talk about Liverpool.
Let's talk about Liverpool. So
from a team not having dysfunction to what really happens when a big team just plays poorly. It's not a crisis. They simply came out, punched Crystal Palace in the mouth hard. Crystal Palace wipes the blood off their mouth, smiles,
spits out,
and is like, okay, let's go. You want to dance? Well, let's dance. So they're taking punches. Then they just get sucker punched, literally. It's on the break. Boom.
Yep.
Zaha out. A nice move by Eze. Zaha scores against Alisson, who's, I have to say it, the best fucking one-on-one keeper there is. He's fucking incredible. He drives me nuts. But he gets beat. Williams, I have to look it up, but all the center backs for Viola play anyone with Van Dijk and he becomes the greatest center back of all time.
Yeah, Nat
that's
Phillips.
not working.
All right, so hold on. So let's just talk about this. In Liverpool's starting lineup today, Nat Phillips.
That's
Harvey
who I'm
Elliott,
talking about. Yeah, number 47, a high number.
James Milner,
who is 37, not number 47, but 37.
Okay, and by the way, if we're into January and we're playing every 3 days, and okay, I understand. I'm not going to give you shit for this.
It's
Liverpool.
game 3,
2, and you had a week off. You had an extra day, right? Like, what in the world is going on? And when you look at the bench,
they didn't play Gomez till late. I think Matip went down, so it looks like what looked like depth is already 4 players out. Boom, they're back to crisis. Now, any team that could happen, I get it. Zaha is tricky, but they did push and push and push and push and push.
Why did James Milner start over Jordan Henderson?
Because Jordan Henderson has been terrible.
I mean, come on. Yeah, sure. But like Naby Keita, Jordan Henderson, any of these players could have started over Milner. I understand.
Maybe it's a statement. Maybe it's Klopp trying to say, I can get away with this game and still make my message of like, James Milner still represents what I want from people. He's here. He has zero body fat. He'll come to play till the end and gives zero fucks about anything. So maybe he's trying to say that. And they should. And listen, Liverpool should have won this game. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
But Palace were there to take the punches and got it done. And then Nunez does the stupid thing.
Well, right. And so I was going to allude to that. Like, you've got no Jota. He's hurt. Firmino couldn't go. It was sort of like a last minute thing. Like he wasn't sure.
A lot of injuries.
Couldn't do it. So yeah, again.
And he's been bad, by the way. He was terrible against Fulham.
Okay, but you would have loved him today, right? If you're
anything.
Right? You sell Origi, so it's like because you get Nunez. Nobody's complaining about that. I'm not criticizing that, by the way. But so now you're going into a game against Palace at home at night. It shouldn't be a problem, but
it should not have been. But they're playing 5-4-1. I mean, this is like you want to talk about battening down the hatches. This is a hurricane Liverpool. Hurricane Anfield is coming. And, and we're not in Kansas anymore. The house is spinning. The Wicked Witch is outside the house. And you have that's what they were up to.
You've got Salah, Nunez, and Diaz up front. And they haven't really played that much together yet. No. But they also don't have any attacking coverage whatsoever. They have Carvalho, who actually came on late. For my money, he was pretty good. He had a really nice chance and just missed. But I saw that and I went, interesting that like there's no safety net for any attacking players here. And again, Harvey Elliott can get forward, but Milner and Fabinho are not those guys, right? So,
that's always been Liverpool's problem, right? Their creativity comes from the wings,
right?
And Trent Alexander-Arnold does put balls in. And listen, they should have won this game. The thing that they probably would have won, honestly, if Nunez doesn't lose his head.
And they probably
Nunez is a little bit of trouble. Joachim Andersen pushes him in the back, and Nunez headbutts him.
And I don't even think it was all right. What I was saying,
he probably wasn't hard, but the way that we have football, the way that it's refereed, if you do it and you're in the, you can put forehead to forehead and push,
which is what he tried to do.
But you can get this close to a guy's face, but he chins him.
Well, Joachim Andersen is a foot taller than him, so his forehead hits him.
And he did do this amazing.
Yeah. And I mean,
but that's what you should do. You should try and draw the red.
If Richarlison had done that to Koulibaly yesterday,
they would have called it. It would have been a red.
No, there was.
In that game, no, it wouldn't have been.
No, it wouldn't have been a call. So it's just so funny that you can watch two different games and it feels like two different sports. Because for me, I was like, that wasn't even a foul on Sunday at Stamford Bridge, right? And so I don't think there was much in it. I understand why it was called a red. Here's the thing. It's either nothing or it's a straight red, which is sort of weird too.
So the other thing is, and I think that this happens and no one wants to say it, but they do it. It's a Uruguayan. He's new in the league. The referees are not without fucking ridiculous, stupid bias from the 3rd century that they're like, he's Uruguayan. Suarez is Uruguayan. Cavani's Uruguayan.
Wait a minute.
We got to teach these hardcore guys that this is what you do in the league.
Suarez played for Liverpool.
I know that doesn't. No one can admit it. it's in the lizard brain of these stupid referees that they have to do these things. And by the way, that's what the punditry will say. But like, he's got to learn that, an English game, you can't do that. What is going on in South America that they fucking just let people get headbutted? Like, I don't get it. It's bizarre. So they'll use this hot Latino thing. It's going to happen. It's just in their heads. It's not conscious. It's just a bias that exists.
I don't think anybody will have the balls to do this, but if after you've listened to this episode, friends, and somebody calls him a firecracker, please let us know. Okay, because there's an old bit from this show, The League, where they always joke about how there's racially charged compliments.
They do it. They had it in for the Premier League when they did the Raheem Sterling side by side notes thing, which was just like, oh wow, that's really bad.
Yeah.
Good for Raheem Sterling. He has called it out, and it has been happening less.
Well,
which is good.
But a black guy is always a class act. He's just always, what a class act, right? Like
always plays with a smile on his face.
Ledley King, what a class act, right? A white guy, small white guy, just scrappy.
Black players never scrappy ever.
No,
ever.
A Latino player, a firecracker, right? So there's.
I don't think people do it on purpose. It's just
an Asian player.
The tropes.
Ready? And an Asian player, industrious, right? Like there's one.
Or
maybe
they
two.
had it. I think Ginmin Son should be on Real Madrid.
Yes.
If he was Sandino, he would be.
Yeah, he would have been 2 years ago. Yeah, I agree.
Right, he's better than Vinicius Jr. Wow.
I mean, they're both great players. They're both.
I mean, we have a lot of games we've covered so much.
Those were the three where like.
I think the big thing to take away though that is huge to me is just like Liverpool have dropped 4 points. They're already 4 points behind City.
Yeah, sure.
And that's going to be the difference at the end of the year. They're going to go, where did my league go?
You're finally going to play a real fucking team next week. You're going to get Newcastle away, and that's going to be a proper test for City, finally.
No, it's not.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, I mean, relative to Bournemouth, it's going to be. Although I forget you made West Ham look ridiculous.
No.
Bournemouth.
No.
Here's my
Newcastle away is not a problem. Especially this time of year. Later in the year, it'll be.
It's August 16th. We have 2 match weeks in the books, and I'm out of breath. This is insane. It was actually sort of nice in June and July. We didn't do any shows. It was quiet. I actually spent time with my family.
I was watching the Women's World Cup. I enjoyed it.
There you go.
Congratulations to the Lionesses.
Women's Euro.
Oh, sorry.
But so I enjoyed a little reprieve and a little break from sports, from being a fucking sociopath. But I'll tell you, something evil woke up inside me on Sunday morning, and I kept feeding it. It was unbelievable. And look, Saturday you had Brentford and United. You had and then Sunday you had Nottingham Forest and West Ham, which is a good segue into that. And then Chelsea, and then Monday you had Liverpool and Crystal Palace. 3 straight days of what the fuck is going on here? So it's just. I'm being reflective for a second, saying, thank goodness you're back, Premier League. Holy shit.
Yeah. So Nottingham Forest, we have to say something. Something important is happening. This is breaking news on the wire. The man who will do terrible things to your girlfriend if you turn his back on him, Neil Maupay, is on his way to Nottingham Forest to fuck the knots in the tree.
Oh, wow.
It's unbelievable.
I did not know that.
Hide your bushes. Hide your trees. The woodpeckers need to get out of the way in case flying shit comes their way that they didn't want to deal with. Neil Maupay is coming after you when his wipes are right behind him.
Literally right behind him. But yeah, I mean, this
so
is another one where...
And they have a city ground. So we talked a little bit about Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest are a really interesting team. They played well. It was a crazy game against West Ham. West Ham should have won. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. They hit the post 3 times. Saeed Benrahma's probably best game in 6 months. Declan Rice missed a penalty. He should never take penalties ever again. I don't think Atamaka did much.
No,
Zuma didn't look like he could walk.
There was only so much.
And they scored a goal on a need-in goal. That was a mistake. It was a nice move, but the thing that's interesting about Forest, they literally have taken a team that got promoted, and then everyone on the team has been removed, and they got a whole new team.
Yeah.
They've signed 14 players, which is insane.
Yep.
To just reload. They already have their win. They have, they've just got to they're going to be the second half of the team. It was good to see them. Lots of songs, lots of red. They don't have a sponsor, which fucking freaked me out.
No, so I thought about that too. They
I looked
have,
it up.
I forget the
Boxed.
name. Boxed. Thank you. But it gets me to think that they did this because it's their first Premier League match since 1999 at home, right? I think they did that on purpose.
Sure.
I think they're going to sell those shirts, and I think they're going to have a commemorative something or other on. I didn't see it, but like there's something really, really cool about that, and I hope that that's something that grows across the league when there's monumental matches or games or whatever. By the way, this is exactly what the sponsors are paying for those memories, for them to be associated, AIA to be associated with the Battle of the Bridge, right?
Yeah.
But I loved that. I thought that was so cool.
It was hard to get my brain around. I was like,
the only criticism I had of it is I wish they did what the internationals did, and they had a number in the middle.
I don't think they was playing though, right? Because they want to just be able to plop something across. Now, we're not going to go through the rest of the scores because, I mean, we should probably say, hey, Arsenal, Gabriel Jesus, really good. They're looking good. They're rising with a revival under Jesus. I'm going to keep using that joke. They're doing great. Although Leicester had some fight. They're still giving up too many goals. But Arsenal were in control. We can talk about that. I just really want to talk about our fucking cool-ass bets that I put in. I'm really happy. I'm going to try and do my best for everyone to really take just one or two little things that I feel really passionate about. Like, I'm going to bet against United until they prove me otherwise. So we're going to take
you're not going to get any money this week.
Well, maybe the under-over is maybe there's, maybe it's the under. Maybe
Sure.
take the spread, take Liverpool on the spread. So something like that. And then,
but take your victory lap because you just won two major underdog wins. So go for it.
Yeah. So I took Brighton in the draw against Newcastle at home, and I did that because I knew that Brighton would outplay Newcastle, and away from home, long trip for Newcastle, going to be tough. And that Brighton don't score at home at all, and they still have the same problem they always have. They won on XG like 2-0.1. Classic Brighton. If they're gonna play Danny Welbeck up front, they're never gonna score goals unless Trossard does something amazing or they sort of luck into them and then kind of go from there. But they're still fantastic and great to watch. They would kill for Callum Wilson. Like they should try and kill people to steal him off that team. That's one. And then the other one, calling a draw as the number was pretty crazy of me. I just had a feeling. And then the other one was just United are terrible. Brentford at home, late game. I just knew it. I knew that Brentford was going to come and punch United in the dick. Now, the manner of the defeat, not the same.
Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah. I thought it would be more.
Nothing.
Yeah, I thought it would be more. They would get that Mbomo goal, right?
Right.
Now, last year he misses that. For sure. And hits the post. Like, if he's going to score that goal, even at 40% more than he did last time, that means he's going to score 12, 13 goals. And Tony and he are going to have 20-something between them. They're staying up. No problem.
Oh, I don't think they're going down, but I think they could be flirting with the top half of the table if they're going to be able to bang in that many goals like that. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I was happy about that. Yeah,
Ramsgaard is going to be bedded in with the team now, so
slowly but surely. Yeah, he'll be a guy.
And De Silva is a really good story, and I was happy that he was the one that got the first goal.
He's going to play. That's why. Listen, this team is fucking smart. They know what they're doing. They knew they were in trouble in January. They knew that they were missing De Silva. They signed Eriksson, get the rehabilitation, pay him, let him go, do him a favor. Danes being Danes. Ooh, Danish friends, as Jay might say.
Yeah.
And they knew they had a player to back them up, right? They get Ben Mee for nothing. You think, like, United couldn't be like, Ben Mee, that guy's good. Like, how are Tarkovsky and Ben Mee just split up and now available when it goes there? I would have taken them together. This is what I've been saying. I'm like, Duncan Duffy. How is Lewis Dunk still at Brighton? And teams like, there's no good center backs. I'm like, there are. Just don't be a fucking snob. Just get the guys who do the job.
That's the problem, right? Like, you get stuck in this sense where, if you make a signing and it's not the sexiest signing in the world, it's seen as a negative, right? Like, even if Dunk were to be a depth signing for a top six, theoretically, right? you would
The
find
guy's a leader.
over time.
Like, yeah, and what can you get him for? Brighton
That's
would
the
sell
point.
him tomorrow for $20 million. They'd be like,
Right.
we love you. You're a legend. They'll put a fucking statue up. He'd be like, go, fuck off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you think he wouldn't play well next to Maguire or next to all those clowns going, move up? Of course he would. And he would be like, we're playing out from the back. He's like, I don't do that, boss. You want someone to play out? Get somebody else. I know myself. I know what I can do. And if the coach goes, you don't play, I'm like, well, you guys can ship goals. That's fine with me. I know what I can do, right?
Yeah.
There's nobody on United that's like, I know what I can do. They're all broken. Anyway, I do want to touch on some games. We've got 5 minutes to go. I think the Villa-Everton game is interesting. That was an off-the-schneid game. I think, big one for Gerrard. Bad one for Coutinho. He was bad. Buendia came on, made the difference. Danny Ings gets off the schneid. They do put in Ollie Watkins, who does set up one of the goals as well. So my 3 guys for that team, it's got to be without Coutinho. They do lose Diego Carlos, who is their new center back. So the Tyrone Mings saga now has a resolution. He's back because because Diego Carlos actually did his Achilles, which means he's fucking done. He's gone. So that means that Aston Villa will have to go back to what they had and just be like, all right, I guess we're doing that again. Interesting stat. Luka Dean scored an own goal against Aston Villa and against Everton, and then last year scored an own goal for Everton against Aston Villa.
Yep.
Also a good time.
He is also Everton's joint leading scorer right now. One thing I want to bring up is tomorrow is the first of 2 legs of the Champions League final round of the playoff. Now, the important thing to note there's a couple of familiar names. Benfica, Dynamo Kiev is in there. Rangers have made a kind of a great run. PSV is there. Dynamo Zagreb is also in there. Do you know who they're playing? Our friends from Bodo Glimt.
Oh, that's a tough game.
That is a tough one.
Are they up or down?
They are. It's the first leg, so they're even right now. But our buddies have beaten the living shit out of Zalgiris. They beat them 6-1 on aggregate. They beat Linfield 8-1 on aggregate. They are flying.
Terrible. That's the Irish champion.
I don't give a fuck. They are flying. I want them in Champions League. We insulted you. We apologized. You embraced us. We loved you.
They are in their team is in the Arctic Circle.
I know. Go take out Zagreb, please. We're all here for you. So that is. I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to getting the groups that we have them. But this is going to be the last leg of it. It's funny because I get like score updates from random things. I'm like, oh shit, that's our friends. So I've been following them through the qualifying rounds. But yeah, like I said, there's going to be 6 teams that kind of make the playoff, right? And it'll be some familiar names, but I really want to see our buddies from where
Glimt.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mike, send me home.
We will stop insulting you now. We love you, and we hope that you make it to Champions League. Laurent, let's get the fuck out of here.
Bodo Glimt, don't fuck the bear. Anyway, that was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network. We record on Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss a show. And if you're listening on Apple, please rate and review the show. Aveline wants waffles, so I have to go. Bye.
Bye, Aveline.